Hey guys, it's David back here with another episode of the Cerebral Palsy and Fitness podcast. And today I'm with Kellina. She has her own YouTube channel. She's an advocate for the deaf community, and she's also an aspiring entrepreneur. Welcome, Kellina.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm super excited to learn about your journey and how you've overcome so much despite dealing with your disability. Could you fill us in on what your background is like? What was it like growing up for you?
Yeah, for sure. So I became deaf at the age of 4. Um, so it all started due to an infection, unfortunately. So from there, it was very challenging, and so that's the basic and my little background. So I am mental health coach for people who have disabilities. So I finally getting my business out to the market, just trying to get it out there. And I'm an upcoming author. So I actually do have a book coming up, which I'm super excited about. And yes, I am a YouTuber. I need to go back on YouTube. I have been slacking a little bit. YouTube is a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. I
And
can I
yeah,
can I can tell you from personal experience. There's times where I'm like working on videos and it's such a grind, and then there's times where I got to take a break for a few weeks to maybe a month just to kind of recuperate and refocus because it takes a lot out on you.
it does. It really does. That's why I just said, I'm gonna take a break and just focus on things that's really more important right now.
So tell me, what was it easy for you growing up? Did you deal with any like bullying from kids?
It was difficult. However, in the beginning, it was a little bit easier because I went to a deaf school and then I went to a hearing school. So the hearing school was a lot more challenging than the deaf school, of course, because it's my community, so I felt comfortable. And I was learning a lot of things about myself that I didn't know, especially communicating with people better, especially in the hearing community. So that was totally different. And when I went to the hearing school, I was bullied a lot. I didn't have anybody that looked like me or anybody that had my back. A lot of teachers didn't know how to work with me. It sounded like they never had someone who had a disability in the classroom before, which is ridiculous. Um, so I was staying in hand school. Yes, I felt really different. However, I started to develop the confidence a little bit more since in grade 1 or grade 2, I stopped going to the deaf school because it was too far for me. And I was getting a little bit older, so my mom kind of wanted me to stick with the hand school just to help me get confidence out there and kind of interact with people that is hearing.
Hey, moms are awesome. I can tell you from personal experience. I dealt with the same situation you did as far as like being in school and then being told I was too slow by teachers in the classroom and they didn't want me there. Um, the funny thing is, moms are always the ones to really stick up for you because my mom, she wasn't playing when it came to my education. She wanted
Right?
what was best for me, and I'm pretty sure it was the same thing from your mom. She wanted the best for you, and so she fought for you.
Yeah, exactly. Moms are the best. I give so much credit for moms out there.
Yeah, they really don't get enough credit. Like, they help you through so much. And um, when was it that you decided to say, you know what, there's a time right now where it's a perfect time to become an advocate? When did you choose to become an advocate?
Okay, so it's such a cute story. So I was working at a big park in Canada. It's called Canada's Wonderland. I had my hair in a ponytail. I was on break. I was just walking, enjoying my break. A little boy came up to me who was also deaf, and he had a hearing aid in. And he poked me, and I thought he was lost because it's a big park. And I'm like, "Well, you lost?" And he's like, "No, miss, I wear hair need too." I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then like we just had a little small talk, and his mom was like, she said she looked lost for a second because she's like, "Why is my son talking to the stranger?" And then I guess she noticed my hairnet was already showing, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're deaf too. You have hearing aids. Oh my god!" Like this is my first time my son seeing someone that looked like him in the hearing community. And she learned that to me, you're gonna make a difference just by doing little things like that, and you're going to change the world. I was like, So right there, I knew I had to advocate because I realized that it's very important for the next generation to know that there are role models like that look like them. So that's why I choose to become an advocate.
So does this kind of correlate to you? And I know you have aspirations to become an entrepreneur. Is this something you'd like to do with what you're doing now?
Yes, it is.
So what is it that you want to, I guess, accomplish with entrepreneurship? What are some of your ventures?
I want to obviously, get the deaf community voice heard in books, definitely books. I want to write a lot of books, and children books, adult books, teenager books, and obviously now I'm an international speaker. So I want to kick it off internationally to talk to people about inclusivity and the deaf community and how can we become a better role for people, not just for the deaf community, but also for different people and like the disability community. And my goal, honestly, my big goal is to help as many people as I can with my coaching business and help them to advocate for themselves in any other community.
How do you feel about the current state of, I guess, right now, you and I, of course, we're motivational speakers, and we're always doing these appearances virtually. Do you feel comfortable like in an audience setting? Do you feel more comfortable now where we're kind of speaking virtually?
Um, I would say virtual because you're not looking at them. You have to make different eye contact. So like virtual, you just look at one thing and you're good to go.
I'm the total opposite. I prefer like the energy and the enthusiasm of the crowd. You know, like I like to feel the emotion coming out of the crowd when you speak.
Oh, really? Wow. And you don't get nervous like so many eyes have on you?
Oh, the funny thing is, when I first started speaking, uh, 5 years ago, my very first appearance was at my former university, which was at UCF. I got to share my story, and let me tell you, I was a nervous wreck. I was sweating. I was trying to get through it. Honestly, I thought it was a complete disaster, and I told myself, you know what? I tried, and I don't think I'm going to do this again. But then I realized, it's only one appearance. Why don't I just keep trying and keep going? And here we are, 60 plus appearances later, and doing also the podcast. So it all worked
That's
out.
amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about you being confident in yourself and knowing that there's people around you that struggle with the same thing.
Oh yeah, I feel like we all been through it. We all seen it, and we overcome it in ourselves, and now we're teaching other people.
Speaking about like self-confidence and self-esteem, a lot of us with various disabilities tend to deal with those kinds of emotions and feelings. Did you ever feel that way when you were growing up?
Of course, I really honestly, my self-esteem was really bad. I mean, it was not bad, but it was really low. I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself just because I had so many people. Um, I would say the school environment, they kind of overlooked me, so that brought it even more down. Where my family just super supportive, uplifting, so there was no balance for me. So I was very confused in a way, like should I even be proud of myself or should I set myself back? And because when you're growing up, you're in school all the time from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's a whole day. So that's like
Yeah.
going somewhere and then someone draining you down. And when you go home from 4 to 10, 9, because your bedtime is like 9 o'clock, and you're just like, you got a little like lost a little bit in yourself. And it was really hard because I was trying to push myself harder, but the teachers kept holding me back and telling me, oh, like, you'll be fine. But, that's not my family expectation. So your family have different expectation versus going to school. And teachers don't follow up with parents' expectations in the classroom. And just where it caught us, especially disability people, we're just like, what the hell? Like, what are we,
Right.
like, So it makes us confused. It's like, are you kidding? Like, no, like, my family has expectations for me. Please follow them. And teachers don't realize that they are They are literally the main reason why a lot of students lose their confidence, lose their self-esteem, don't do well in school. And this is why, especially high school students now, the majority of them drop out because they don't want to be around that environment that's going to pull them down.
Yeah, I can tell you from, again, from personal experience. I work with students. I used to be a teaching assistant for a couple years at in a couple middle schools, and then I work now as an advocate for middle school students. I kind of help figure out ways for them to build that confidence and that belief in themselves, and also to speak up when needed. Give them that
Exactly.
platform that that they're not alone. But if they need the help, I'm just standing in the shadow in case they need me to step in. I try not to intervene too much because I want them to learn to be independent, because
Right.
I see them as young adults. I don't see them as kids. I see them as young men, because I deal with all boys. So
Right. It's very
uh,
important to look at them like that, because that way they respect you more and you give them that respect, to earn. So I feel like with not just boys, just for both, gender, I feel like once you treat them with respect and treat them how they should be treated, they would come to you more. And that's what I learned a lot when I was growing up.
yeah, take advantage of the resources available, whether it's your family, your friends, relatives, mentors, teachers, coaches, anybody out there that's willing to listen to you or to help you grow is a huge asset.
Hmm. I agree.
So what would you tell, I guess, someone who is right now struggling with their self-esteem, embracing their disability, you know, uh things
I
like
would
things like that.
say, I would say, honestly, I would say what you need to focus on something that is bothering you. Try not to think too big out of it. I feel like a lot of time we think too big about it, and we need to take a step back and really look at the little things that what we're stuck on the most. Because when I was growing up, I was so thinking about the bigger picture instead of the smaller thing that's gonna help me to get up there.
Right.
And I feel like you need to focus on the baby step. And I tell people, take your time, always take your time. There's no rush. You have all these years to live life. And I
Right.
know, I feel like this generation, I feel like they're too fast. Like, I'm like, whoa, no, So it's all about baby step. I always tell them if they're really going through a lot, I would ask them and say, hey, why don't you focus on the baby step or find a therapist? A lot of time when you tell someone, oh, what if you thought about that? They think it's for people who are mentally ill, and I tell people that's not what it's for. It's important to have those type of support and someone you can talk to outside the box because it's super important. So
Yeah, it is. I mean, communication is key, and also have that person that'll just sit there and listen to you. Not say I'm one of those I'll sit there and I'll listen to you and I won't say a word till you're done.
exactly, no judgment, nothing.
Exactly. I won't say a word. I don't think anything. I just open up my ears and keep it at that.
Exactly.
So you mentioned I guess you were in the process of writing a book, right? Or somewhat in the stages?
Yeah, yeah. Am I in a book? So but in my last final stage, I would say.
Oh, so you're about to, I guess you're in the revision stage, or you're kind of revising and then eventually it'll get published.
Yes, I'm in the progress of getting it published. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
What is the name of the book, if you don't
Every day,
mind sharing?
every day I am just deaf.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And do you know when it'll be released or like anything at all?
Mm, My goal is to get it released by May 1st, just because of the pandemic. And so I
Okay.
feel like all my book had to hold back, unfortunately. So my goal is to get it released this year by May 1st. So
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, just remember May 1st. Once that book's released, you also definitely check it out and support her venture. It's always really cool to see people go above and beyond just public speaking. Like I want to write a book eventually. It's just I have to figure out, title and then what I'm gonna base it on and figure out, who am I gonna work with to help me, edit, uh write it out, publish it. It's a long process. Not only that, but you're talking about money too. You're shelving out money to
Oh
produce
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot of work, and you want to make sure you work with the right people. You don't want people to be, taking advantage of your book idea. That's the number one thing. You want to work with someone who wants to support you.
Yeah, you want to make sure to trademark and copyright everything. You don't want to end up in a dispute or into trouble yourself.
Right?
But yeah, that's wonderful, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure my listeners here today are looking forward to it as well. Uh,
Yeah.
so where can we find you or contact you if you have any questions?
So if anybody has any questions, anybody's more than welcome to check out my website, which is kellinaempowerment.com. And for Instagram, social media, it is DeafQueenBoss.
I like that. That's Queen Boss. Very, very, very out there. Very, very confident. You know.
DeafQueenBoss. Thank you.
Yeah, it's you don't really hear much of that in the disability community.
You don't. You really don't. That's why I'm super excited to hit this off and work with them and get them out there too and be like, yes, let's do this, let's do
Yeah, get the hashtag trending. Deaf Queen Boss,
this.
right?
Oh yeah.
Get it out there. Well, Kellina, it was a pleasure having you on, and I will make sure to link all your socials in the description of this episode. You're going to be able to find this episode on Spotify, iTunes. You're also going to find it on YouTube and every other major podcasting outlet out there. And I tend to always end the podcast with, if I can do it, so can you. But lately, I've been kind of in a sharing mood. So I usually go and say, if we can do it, so can you. So thank you. Thank you guys for listening today. And I hope you have a good one.